Thank you, and I feel myself blessed that I was able to hear the motivation talk from the man himself. His words were really motivating to me as well, and actually, the words he said, the things he suggested were some of the same things which I follow in my life, and the things which I had followed during my CAT study. And I would also like to say that no person is perfect. Even I had setbacks, as sir mentioned, that the past 10 years cannot define the next 10 years. The same thing I would start with. I would first like to talk about me, who I am. So I am Harshal Patil. You already informed that I am a computer engineer from Triple IT Pune. So first I would like to start. I'm no one perfect, I would say. Even I have passed bad ACADS, but and I have heard people say that once you have bad ACADS, you cannot join an IM. Uh, you won't even get an interview call and all sort of those things. But I knew myself that if you have the caliber, if you can do the hard work, you can crack the cat. You can be the person you want to be. So that is one thing. Then the work experience, I have around 4 years of work experience as a application developer and also as a product owner. It's kind of like similar product manager. So I would say that work experience is also another thing which I would like to for the students to consider, because work experience brings clarity to your goals. It's help you understand. Even a 1 year of experience would help you know that exactly which type of colleges you should target, because that would help you understand the kind of work you need to do, the kind of work you want to do, the domain, and if the current career which you already have or you would have been like based on your bachelor's degree, you want that or you want to change that. That is why basically you should do MBA. For me, I was from a technical background. Sorry, yeah. So I was from a technical background, and I was already working with the business people, the clients, and the business side fascinated me. I thought that why shouldn't I try that? That was basically something which each person aims in his life. That is career growth. For some people, it can also be change of career. So you should first be sure before giving the. I would say before preparing for the CAT itself, that why you want to do MBA. No one can tell you why you should do MBA. That is something you need to decide for yourself. Then I would like to continue with what should be a ideal study plan. Uh, because without having a plan in place, you shouldn't go just random heads on and start preparing. I would say you should give a lot of mocks. You, as Arun sir mentioned, you should be sure what are your strengths, weaknesses, because there are three sections. As he mentioned, that there is possibility that you might have a good bond, you might have good DILR, but your verbal might be weak. And the same way, your verbal might be good, but your quant might be weak. So you should be sure so that accordingly you can prepare, because the strength section, as I did, my DLR was good. So I prepared some mocks on it, but most of the mocks I prepared was for quant and verbal, and that made a huge difference for me. During the exam, I would say avoid silly mistakes. I would read the question twice, because even a single number mistake that you haven't read properly or made a mistake, like the question was asking something and you did something else. So don't be so much nervous that you start making silly mistake. As there is, don't forget, there is negative marking. And it's not a exam that you need to complete full. It's basically for myself. Even I would say during my time when I gave GET, I attempted 11 questions for quant that were correct, but I was sure that the surety was 100%. For verbal section, I attempted around 16 questions, and for the LRDI, around 17 questions. So it's not just about how much you are able to attempt, but also about the accuracy. Because even if you are able to attempt the whole paper, but your accuracy is, let's say, 50%, and due to negative marking, your score would be even lesser. And again, make be sure that you have a plan ready for the D-Day. That is how you would start. Like, let's say, what are your strengths? Like for me, I had practiced a lot of RC, so RC was the best section, was the best part of the verbal section for me. I started with it. And don't try to solve all the RCs, because there will be some hard, too hard RCs, too medium RCs. So you should be sure by looking at the RC, by looking at the questions. The practice would let you know that you should attempt a RC or not. Or even if it's a easy RC, the question might be tough. Or if it's a tough RC, some of the one or two questions would be easy. That would make sure that you are able to attempt as much as possible. Then the further questions, you should be sure that what are the type of questions you want to attempt, what are the kind of questions which you are able to solve faster, or which are the types of questions which takes a lot of time. So accordingly make a plan. For the LRDI, I would say it's a section which a lot of people find tough, so normally the cutoff doesn't go very high. So be sure, be planned. Like for me, it was the logical reasoning section which I like the most, so I always went through all the sets, and the logical reasoning sections which were the easiest, I started with those. Then if the hardest, would be definitely a logical reasoning section which would be the hardest, and that is the most hard to crack and time consuming. So if you are able to find that, then don't try to solve that, because that would consume a lot of time. And same in the DI section, out of the four you might be able to solve one or two. Alone solving this would make sure that you are able to score above 98 percentile. And in the quant section as well, don't try to start solving the question from question one, because there would be again hard questions, easy questions. First try to scan the paper in the roughly 3 2 minutes or 4 minutes of the start, and make sure that you start with the easy questions. As sir mentioned, do not try to learn new topics as of now for quant. Practice on the basics first, which what you know, and even while solving the exam, see for the questions which you are sure about. And I would say, for the new topics, don't try to learn about them, but see some of the for easy formulas, so that even if, let's say, if the topic which you did not prepare for had a simple question, and you are able to attempt, it's just a basic formula, then you might be able to do it. But don't try to spend a lot of time there. Practice on the things which you already know. And the main thing, the last but not the least thing, be calm during the exam, because that would be the thing which would make sure that you are able to give the best of yourself. Let's say for the first section verbal, you are not able to do as many questions as you thought, but that is not just because of your preparation. It might be that the paper was very hard. That might be that, uh, let's say, if the section, the exam which were you are given, the slot might have that section as the toughest, and in the normalization obviously your marks would increase. So after one each section, don't think what are the setbacks, just give your best in each section. And in the start of the section, be sure to also check for the patterns, because each cat exam has a set pattern. You would see there is a pattern being followed, that the exams, which section would be hard, which section would be easy. That is also a thing which you can be sure. Obviously you cannot guarantee that, but that helps really with the preparation. Next I would like to continue with is what was my plan. Basically I was a working person, so was not, I cannot take a long leave. So I had was preparing, like every weekend I was giving the small tests, uh, sub tests, I would say, the sectionals. I was practicing on the sections which I was weak with, and with continuous practice, I was able to improve upon then. After that, I made sure that I gave, means in the last 1.5 months, I made sure that I at least gave 2 full tests during the weekends. And in the last 3 weeks, I took complete leave. That was the time which I made sure that I am able to focus and give a lot of mocks. Like each day around 5 to 6 sectionals and one full mock, and on the weekend 2 full mocks. And just may also make sure that you shouldn't be too nervous and too tired just before the exam. So like you can do something like just give a full test in the morning. After that, let's say, see a good movie, listen to some soothing music. So make sure that you are calm before the exam. Make sure that you don't feel too tired before the exam, because it's not just about the things you learn, it's also about how you apply. It's also about how calm you can be during the exam, because that would make sure that you give your best. Now I would like to move on to why I chose IIM Udaipur. So I would like to first tell you, I gave interviews for MDI, IIT Bombay, IIM Shillong, the other new IIMs, baby IIMs. So I had calls from IIM Trichy, IIM Udaipur, and also all other baby IIMs. But why I chose IIM Udaipur? So there are different things which you should see when you choose a B school. For me, it was I wanted to learn more about product management. I also wanted a college which would be have a good global recognition as well, so that in the future, don't think about the B school as something which would give you profit. I would say give you recognition in the next 2 or 3 years. Think about from the college from perspective of long term, like let's say 10 years, 12 years, because the next 2 3 years is a short term plan. Never think short term, always be sure that you should have a long term plan, so that you can make accordingly small changes, and never be set you are early in your career. Don't be like I only want to do marketing, I only want to do finance, I only want to do operations, or for that matter I only want to join this college, because the college won't set your limitations. But be sure that what you want to do, what are your skills. And even while learning in a B school, the thing, there would be a lot of opportunities. First, keep your mind open, try to learn as much as possible, and make sure then see what the things or the subjects best suits your knowledge, your skills. For me, my preferred domain was finance. I want to pursue product management in the fintech industries. So I currently I am choosing a lot of finance subjects, but again that's not my end goal. So that's what I'm trying to say, that don't be rigid in the start of your careers itself. Also look for other things which matters you most, that the college rankings matter. For me the college ranking mattered. uh, I am Udaipur is one of the youngest colleges to have rankings in the QS World rankings, FT Master in Management rankings. It is the third IIM in India to have been ranked in the FT Master in Management ranking after Ahmedabad and Bangalore. And also, do you feel yourself connected with the core values? For IIM Udaipur, I would say the policies, the core values, that is excellence, integrity, transparency, mutual respect, inclusion, and ecological sustainability. Those things actually carried a lot of value in my heart, because transparency is a thing which you should keen on, that is the college transparent with me, is it sharing all its achievements, all its weaknesses with me. Also, you can talk to the college alumni, the current college students for their experience, so that you know that the things the college is sharing with you in public or are really true or not. What are the experience? So like for IIM Udaipur, it is the rigor from with which we go through is actually a life transforming experience for us. So that is something I would like to end with, that always be sure that you try to give your best. Always be sure that uh, never make a uninformed decision. And also lastly, that this is not something which would decide your future, just this exam, but yes, it is something which if you are able to perform well would help you grow in your career. Thank you.
The question is, sir, I have seen placement report where I have gone through education background of students in IIMs. The number in percentage of non-engineers varies from 8 to 22% ABCL. So what the approximate number of non-engineers in IIM Udaipur and other probable chances of non-engineers getting into IIMs? So would you like to respond to this?
Yes. So in IIM, I would say it's
This is a
around
question
30.
from Yash Ahuja. Thank you,
Yes.
Yash.
So in IIM Udaipur, it's around 30 to 35% for our batch. Each year, that percentage increasing year by year. So I would say it's not about non-engineer or engineer just. It's about what you actually want to do, because the competition, it's not just with the engineers, it's also with the other, it means the whole other sets of academic disciplines as well. It's about, do you want to really join that college? uh, does do you feel yourself matching with the college core values? And as I mentioned, why you want to do MBA, what is your path, what are the subjects you would like to pursue? And obviously, even if you have thought something that, like for me, I had some things in my mind, but the things you learn, the subjects you pursue, that would also help you have more clarity with each month. With each month, I would say you might be making some new decisions. You might be thinking that some of your old decisions you shouldn't pursue them. Then that is the main thing. It's not about being engineer or non-engineer. It's about why you want to enter, and obviously you have a lot of chances. And for IIM Udaipur as well, actually, there are, I think, around 2 to 5 points extra for non-engineers. So again, that increases your chances.
Actually, IIMs now and all the good schools, good MBA colleges want more and more non-engineers in their campus, provided you meet the threshold requirement. If you meet the threshold requirement, because ultimately MBA at a good school is a rigorous program. It is not something that you can, spend 2 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours and think of getting through that. It requires intense, preparation for 2 years while you are an MBA program. That's what they're trying to test, as much as your knowledge and as much as your ability to for your brain to process. Okay, so if you are a non-engineer, don't think it's a disadvantage. It's actually an advantage today, and there's a lot of information that is there on MBA Universe on this particular point. Okay, I hope that helps. Quickly, another question on internship from Dhruv. What internships we do while we preparing for CAT? Is it helpful? So, Harshal, your quick comments on that.
Yes. Uh, so I would like to know, means when he says internship, is he talking about any particular academic discipline, or can we?
Let's assume these are internships, work internships, which are available through our.
Okay, so yes, intern means, I would say, it's not the same thing as work experience, but yes, internships also help you get a peek at the corporate experience. It lets you see how the processes work. It's let you communicate with the managers. It's let you see that how the actual work is being done, because in India, I would say most of the bachelor's degree have knowledges, but not like MBAs. It's more of theory than practical. So without seeing the work experience, without seeing the knowledge of that part, you won't be able to make the correct decision for yourself.
Well said.
And
Sure. So internships are definitely encouraged. Of course, you have to balance between various things. It shouldn't be that internship takes away, half your day or full day, and then you end up with very little time for everything else, including CAT preparation. So you have to
uh,
balance it. But if you are able to balance, it's a good thing. A quick answer to the question: what are the benefits of MBA? That's what Sahil is asking. Very quickly, I'll like to respond. So it's not so much about education and knowledge and information. I think knowledge, information, education is all available, more or less, free today. It is about your ability to one network, create a network. I think that's a one big benefit out of the MBA program, that you are able to create a network which lasts a lifetime. Imagine you are at one of the good institutions and there are 300 students with you, let's say. That's the typical size. Sometimes it's even more. Out of these 300 people, 30 will become superstars. Okay, not 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 necessarily people who score very high grades become superstar in work life and in their personal life. There is a big disconnect, but whatever, whosoever they are, out of 300, 30 will do very well professionally. and they are there for you to be able to respectfully seek help all your life. And that's the benefit of the network that MBA creates for you. Of course, it's a useful, card that you carry when you say that I'm an MBA from XYZ. uh, you get at least interviews and door openings much faster, even if you're seeking funding, etc., etc. But uh, it's about multiple things, and networking is definitely one of the most important things. Harshal, would you like to add something?
Yes, but before that, actually, we have a reply with from Dhruv as well, and I would like to actually add a point there as well.
Please.
So he mentioned that is it going to help me in any way in getting into a B school? So I would like to add that the internship, as I mentioned, the internship work would make sure that you have a better clarity, and that clarity is actually really important when you give the interviews for the B schools, because they are not just trying to check what you have done in the past, but also making sure that do you have your clarity for your future, are you sure that why you are entering in their program. So that is something which would you would get the help from internship. And what are the benefits? So as you mentioned, yes, networking is one of the most, I would say, we can even give it rank one in the benefits, because you are not just because before this you were one of the minds, but now you are also communicating, you are also debating, you are also entering into group discussions with the one top other 300 great minds, and not just from a particular discipline but from various disciplines. You are able to know about viewpoints, you are able to match with those viewpoints and be sure that you learn from them as well. So I would say peer learning is another part, and peer learning from various disciplines will help really help you from in the MBA, because even in job you would have peers with similar experience, but in MBA you would get peers with a lot of varied experiences.